3 seconds. That's how long it took for FBI Director Kash Patel's face to drain of all color after Senator Adam Schiff opened a manila folder marked with red classification stripes and began reading a document that Patel had just sworn under oath did not exist. Not a gradual change. Not a subtle shift. A complete draining of color so visible that every camera in the Senate Intelligence Committee captured it in real time. 3 seconds, from confident FBI director to a man whose hands started trembling so badly he couldn't lift his water glass without spilling. What was in that folder? An internal FBI memorandum dated November 3, 2025, authored and digitally signed by Kash Patel himself, ordering the immediate deletion of 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence data related to foreign influence operations, the largest unexplained loss of classified intelligence in FBI history. Deleted using Patel's personal authorization code at 2:47 in the morning, while he was alone in his office. But that's not what made Patel's composure completely collapse on live television. What destroyed him was the second document Schiff pulled from that folder, a witness protection agreement bearing Patel's personal signature granting FBI security detail to an individual whose name appears 47 times in the deleted intelligence files. Michael Flynn. What happened next? Schiff reading document after document while Patel sat frozen, unable to answer, visibly shaking, will show you exactly how evidence destroys lies and why sometimes the most devastating weapon in Washington isn't a speech or a soundbite. It's a manila folder filled with someone's own signed documents proving they did exactly what they swore they didn't. Senate Intelligence Committee hearing room. February 2026. What was scheduled as routine oversight, annual budget discussions, standard operational briefings was about to become the most explosive hearing in congressional history. Kash Patel arrived at 9:47 a.m. exactly 13 minutes early, flanked by 4 FBI attorneys whose briefcases contained pre-approved responses to every anticipated question. The first 2 hours proceeded exactly as his legal team had scripted. Republican senators praised his leadership. Democratic senators pressed on controversial topics: the reassignment of counterintelligence agents, the firing of senior FBI officials. Patel deflected each challenge with bureaucratic precision. At 11:53 a.m., Chairman Mark Warner recognized Senator Adam Schiff for questioning. The room's energy shifted immediately. Everyone present understood that Schiff didn't ask questions unless he already possessed the answers. Adam Schiff is not someone who brings documents to hearings for show. Former federal prosecutor who spent years building RICO cases against organized crime networks. Congressman who served as lead impeachment manager. Schiff doesn't bluff. He doesn't speculate. He builds prosecutorial cases with documentary evidence that destroys people's careers. And today he had brought a manila folder with red classification markings that would end Kash Patel's credibility forever. The folder sat on Schiff's desk, visible but closed. Patel saw it. His eyes tracked to the folder for just 1 second before returning to Schiff's face. Trained observers could see the micro-expression of concern flash across Patel's features. Director Patel, Schiff began, his voice carrying the calm, measured tone of someone who had already won. I want to ask you about FBI data management practices, specifically regarding the preservation of counterintelligence materials. Patel's left hand moved to adjust his tie, a self-soothing gesture indicating psychological stress. Of course, Senator, the FBI maintains the most rigorous data security and preservation protocols in the federal government. Excellent, Schiff said, and there was something in that single word that made every person in that chamber understand Patel had just walked directly into the trap. So you would agree that the FBI has systems in place to prevent the unauthorized deletion of classified counterintelligence data? Patel nodded, still projecting confidence he would lose in approximately 40 seconds. Absolutely. We have multiple redundant backup systems, strict access controls, and comprehensive audit trails. It would be virtually impossible for significant amounts of classified intelligence to be deleted without proper authorization and documentation. Virtually impossible, Schiff repeated slowly. And if such a deletion did occur, there would be clear records showing who authorized it. Correct. Correct, Patel confirmed. Every action in our classified systems requires digital authentication, and those authentication logs are preserved indefinitely. Schiff opened the manila folder with theatrical precision. Director Patel, are you familiar with FBI Data Management Report number DM251847 dated November 4, 2025? Patel's face showed the first visible sign of genuine concern, eyebrows drawing together, mouth opening before closing again. Senator, without seeing the specific document, I can't comment on individual internal reports. Let me refresh your memory, Schiff interrupted, holding up a document bearing official FBI letterhead, classification markings clearly visible. This is an internal memorandum sent to you on November 4th by FBI Chief Information Security Officer Dr. Jennifer Martinez. Subject line, critical data loss incident requiring immediate executive attention. The room went completely silent. Schiff began reading, his voice clear and precise. Quote, Director Patel, I am writing to inform you of an unprecedented data loss incident that occurred between November 2nd and November 3rd, 2025. Approximately 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence data were permanently deleted from FBI primary servers using administrative override protocols that require director-level authorization. He paused, letting that land. The deleted materials include 847 counterintelligence case files related to foreign influence operations during the 2024 presidential transition period, 2,341 intercepted communications between foreign intelligence operatives and U.S. persons of interest, 18,492 financial transaction records flagged for potential FARA violations, and 673 witness interview transcripts. Another pause. The numbers hitting like physical blows. Director Patel, this deletion was executed using your personal authorization code FBI THAP 7734 initiated from your office terminal at 2:47 a.m. on November 3rd. This represents the largest unexplained loss of classified intelligence in FBI history. Signed Dr. Jennifer Martinez, Chief Information Security Officer. End quote. The impact was instantaneous and devastating. Patel's face went from its normal complexion to visibly pale in 3 seconds, the color draining so dramatically that even the press gallery could see it. His hands began to tremble visibly, a shake that started small but grew more pronounced. One of his attorneys leaned in to whisper urgent advice, but Patel seemed unable to process anything, his eyes fixed on Schiff with an expression combining shock, panic, and terrible realization. Director Patel, Schiff continued, his voice now carrying an edge. Would you like to explain why 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence data were deleted using your personal authorization code in the middle of the night? Patel's mouth opened. No words emerged initially. His left hand moved to his water glass. When he lifted it to drink, the trembling was so pronounced that water sloshed over the rim, spilling onto the witness table in a way that every camera captured. Senator, Patel finally managed his voice, barely recognizable. I don't have personal knowledge of every technical system operation. I would need to review the specific circumstances. You don't have personal knowledge. Schiff's voice rose with genuine incredulity. This memo states explicitly that the deletion was executed using your authorization code from your office terminal at 2:47 in the morning. Are you telling this committee that someone else was in your office at 2:47 a.m. using your credentials? Patel looked desperately at his attorneys. Senator, there could be technical explanations for how authorization codes are utilized in automated processes. Let me make this simpler, Schiff interrupted, pulling a second document from his folder. This is FBI Headquarters Security Access Log for November 2nd and 3rd, 2025. According to this official record, you personally entered FBI headquarters at 11:34 p.m. on November 2nd, accessed the director's office suite at 11:41 p.m., remained in the building with no other personnel present on the 7th floor, and exited at 4:18 a.m. on November 3rd. Pause. The data deletion occurred at 2:47 a.m. You were alone in your office when 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence data were permanently deleted using your authorization code. The trap was complete. Inescapable. Patel sat frozen, face glistening with visible perspiration, hands trembling so badly he clasped them together on the table, breathing audibly rapid. Senator, I may have been working late that night, but the specific technical operations are handled by specialized personnel. Routine archival processes. Routine. Schiff's voice carried barely contained fury. Director, let me read you one more thing. Quote, this deletion utilized emergency override protocols specifically designed to bypass all standard preservation safeguards. The deleted data is permanently unrecoverable. This action required manual disabling of 6 separate backup systems and explicit confirmation at 3 separate verification points. This was not automated. This was a deliberate manual deletion requiring active human intervention at multiple stages. End quote. Schiff leaned forward, ice cold. Director Patel, that doesn't sound routine. That sounds like someone deliberately destroyed classified counterintelligence data in the middle of the night while alone in the FBI building. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Why did you delete 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence files related to foreign influence operations? At 12:07 p.m., exactly 14 minutes into Schiff's questioning, Kash Patel completely lost his composure. Senator, this is outrageous. Patel's voice cracked with panic and desperate anger. You are taking internal communications completely out of context and weaponizing routine procedures to create a false narrative. Context. Schiff cut him off sharply. Let me give you context. Let me tell you what was in those 2.4 terabytes. He pulled out a third document. Counterintelligence Case File CI 2024-8847, Investigation into Undisclosed Foreign Contacts by Presidential Transition Team Members. Case File CI 2024-9113, Russian Intelligence Operatives and U.S. Political Consultants. Case File CI 2024-9847, Financial Intelligence Reports on Unexplained Transfers from Foreign Entities to Domestic Political Organizations during the Transition. With each case file number, Patel seemed to shrink further. And here's the most interesting part, Schiff continued, holding up a fourth document. This is a witness protection authorization form signed by you personally on November 1, 2025. Granting emergency classified witness status and FBI security detail to Michael Flynn. The name detonated like a bomb. Michael Flynn, Trump's former national security advisor, convicted of lying to the FBI about Russian contacts, pardoned by Trump. Director Patel, Schiff said, his voice now carrying absolute certainty. Michael Flynn's name appears 47 times in the counterintelligence files you deleted 2 days after granting him FBI witness protection. He leaned forward. So let me ask you directly, did you delete classified counterintelligence data to protect Michael Flynn and others connected to foreign influence operations? Patel tried to stand, his chair scraping loudly, face contorted with rage and panic. I will not sit here and allow you to impugn my integrity with these baseless conspiracy theories. Sit down, Director. Chairman Warner's voice thundered through the chamber. Patel sat immediately, hands visibly shaking. Schiff wasn't finished. Let me tell you what I think happened. During the presidential transition, the FBI's counterintelligence division was conducting legitimate investigations into foreign influence operations. Those investigations documented concerning patterns of communication with foreign intelligence services. When you became FBI director, you were instructed to make those investigations disappear. You systematically destroyed evidence to protect powerful people. And you granted Michael Flynn FBI witness protection to ensure his cooperation in keeping quiet. The chamber erupted. Schiff pulled out one final document. Director Patel, I want to read you an email sent by FBI Deputy Director Paul Abbott on October 28, 2025, 5 days before the deletion. Quote, Kash, I need to strongly advise against any action to compromise ongoing counterintelligence investigations. The CI division has developed substantial evidence of FARA violations and potential espionage activities. Any interference would constitute obstruction. I am formally documenting my opposition to any proposed data modifications. Paul Abbott, Deputy Director. End quote. Schiff looked directly at Patel with cold fury. Your own Deputy Director warned you that deleting these files would constitute obstruction. You did it anyway. That is not data management, Director. That is obstruction of justice. Patel sat motionless, unable to respond. I move that all documents be entered into the congressional record, Schiff said. and I formally request that the Department of Justice open an immediate investigation into potential obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, and violations of federal records preservation laws. Within minutes, video clips of Patel's breakdown went viral. His trembling hands, his drained face, his inability to provide coherent answers. The evidence was undeniable. 2.4 terabytes of classified counterintelligence data deleted. Patel's personal authorization code used. Deletion occurred at 2:47 a.m. while Patel was alone in his office. Manual deletion requiring 6 backup systems disabled. Michael Flynn granted witness protection 2 days before deletion. Flynn's name appeared 47 times in deleted files. Deputy Director warned it would constitute obstruction. Schiff caught Kash Patel with documents Patel couldn't deny. An FBI memo stating 2.4 terabytes deleted using Patel's authorization code at 2:47 a.m. A security log proving Patel was alone in his office when the deletion occurred. A witness protection form showing Michael Flynn granted FBI security detail. Evidence that Flynn's name appears 47 times in the deleted counterintelligence files. A deputy director's warning that any interference would constitute obstruction. Patel's response: visible panic, trembling hands, face going white, water spilling from a glass he couldn't control. 1 manila folder, red classification markings, 2.4 terabytes deleted. Patel's authorization code, 2:47 a.m. Michael Flynn's name 47 times, and a face that went white when the documents started coming out, because sometimes accountability just requires a prosecutor with a manila folder, the patience to build an inescapable trap, and the courage to read documents that prove what someone swore under oath didn't exist. Schiff had the folder. Kash Patel had no answers, and in 14 minutes the truth came out. Subscribe, because when those 2.4 terabytes of deleted files get recovered through forensic investigation, every name Flynn was protecting will become public. Share this everywhere, because an FBI director just got caught on live television deleting classified intelligence to protect foreign influence operations.